plane touched down on the familiar soil of the small town that James Miller had once called home. After years of deployment in a war-torn country, he was finally returning to the place where he had grown up, the place he had fought so hard to protect. The war had changed him, though, in ways he couldn't fully comprehend yet. As he stepped off the plane, the weight of his military gear was replaced by an invisible burden, the emotional scars of combat that clung to him like a second skin. His parents were waiting at the airport, their eyes filled with a mixture of pride and concern. James forced a smile, trying to convey a sense of normalcy that he no longer felt. Driving through the familiar streets, the town seemed both unchanged and oddly foreign. As they neared the house he had left behind years ago, memories flooded back. Childhood laughter, teenage rebellion, and the innocence of a time before war. The scars he carried were etched not only on his body, but also in the depths of his soul. The first few weeks were a blur of doctor's appointments, therapy sessions, and sleepless nights. The once familiar routine of civilian life felt alien to James. Simple tasks like grocery shopping or waiting in line at the bank became overwhelming. He couldn't shake the hypervigilance that had kept him alive in combat, but now only served to alienate him from the people around him. His relationships suffered the most. His childhood friends had moved on, forming families and careers, while James felt stuck in a perpetual state of war-induced limbo. His attempts to reconnect were met with awkward silences and uncomfortable glances. Even his parents, who had longed for his return, struggled to understand the depth of his pain. One evening, as he sat alone in his childhood room, James stumbled upon a box of letters he had written during his deployment. Reading his own words brought back a flood of emotions: fear, camaraderie, loss. He realized that the person who had written those letters was different from the one who sat in that room now. It was a painful revelation, but it sparked a glimmer of hope. Determined to reclaim his life, James threw himself into therapy. The counselor, a kind-hearted woman with a deep understanding of veteran struggles, guided him through the labyrinth of his emotions. He began attending support groups, connecting with others who shared his pain. Slowly, he started to rebuild the bridges that war had burned. One of the breakthrough moments came during a local veterans event. James hesitated at the entrance, the crowd and noise triggering memories of crowded marketplaces and distant explosions. But he took a deep breath and stepped inside. Surrounded by people who understood his silent battles, he felt a sense of belonging he hadn't experienced since leaving the military. His journey toward healing was far from linear. There were setbacks, sleepless nights, and moments of despair. Yet, James discovered resilience within himself that he hadn't known existed. Through art therapy, he found a way to express the unspeakable pain that haunted him. Painting became a form of meditation, a lifeline that anchored him to the present. As James navigated the rocky terrain of post-traumatic growth, he began to mend the frayed threads of his personal relationships. Honest conversations with his parents and friends opened doors to empathy and understanding. He learned that healing wasn't about erasing the scars, but accepting them as part of his journey. In a surprising turn of events, James found solace in helping other veterans. Volunteering at a local veterans center, he shared his story, offering a listening ear to those who felt trapped in their own silent battles. The sense of purpose and camaraderie fueled his healing process, turning his pain into a source of strength. The final chapter of James's story was not about erasing the scars of war, but about wearing them with pride. He realized that his experiences, though painful, had shaped him into a person capable of profound empathy and resilience. The small town that once felt suffocating now embraced him as a symbol of triumph over adversity. As the years passed, James became an advocate for veterans' mental health, using his journey to inspire others. The war had left its mark, but it also revealed the indomitable spirit within him. The wounds were still there, but they were no longer open and bleeding. Instead, they were a testament to the power of healing, understanding, and the unyielding strength of the human spirit. Years passed, and the small town that had witnessed James Miller's triumphant return also became the stage for his continued growth. The scars of war were still present, but they had transformed into badges of honor, a testament to his resilience and the transformative power of healing. James found a renewed sense of purpose working at the Veterans Center, where he had initially sought refuge. His role expanded as he became an integral part of organizing events, support groups, and counseling sessions. The camaraderie he shared with fellow veterans created a tight-knit community, a lifeline for those still navigating the treacherous waters of post-traumatic stress. His advocacy work extended beyond the local community. James became a vocal spokesperson for veterans' mental health on a national level, sharing his story in interviews, writing articles, and collaborating with organizations dedicated to supporting those who had served. The scars on his body and soul had become a powerful narrative, breaking the silence around the hidden struggles of veterans. Amidst his advocacy work, James rekindled old friendships and formed new connections. His childhood friends, once distant, became pillars of support as they witnessed his journey unfold. The bond they shared deepened as they embraced the changes in each other, acknowledging the scars that made them who they were. In a surprising turn of events, James found love. Sarah, a compassionate and understanding woman, entered his life and stood by him through the highs and lows. She saw beyond the trauma, recognizing the strength and empathy that had grown within him. Together, they navigated the complexities of love in the aftermath of war, forging a relationship built on trust, patience, and mutual understanding. Despite the progress, there were still moments when the shadows of the past lingered. Nightmares haunted James's sleep, and certain sounds triggered memories that transported him back to the war-torn landscapes he had tried so hard to leave behind. However, the difference now was his ability to confront these moments head-on, armed with coping mechanisms and the support of those who understood. Therapy remained a constant in James's life, not as a crutch, but as a tool for continued growth. The scars, both visible and invisible, were a reminder of the battles he had fought, a testament to the endurance of the human spirit. As he delved deeper into his own healing, James became a mentor for younger veterans, offering guidance and encouragement as they embarked on their own journeys toward recovery. As James approached middle age, he reflected on the path he had traveled. The once broken veteran had evolved into a beacon of hope for others. His advocacy work had left an indelible mark on the national conversation about veterans' mental health, leading to increased awareness, resources, and support for those in need. The Veterans Center he had called home for so long continued to thrive, evolving into a comprehensive hub for mental health services. James's story, now documented in books and documentaries, inspired countless individuals to seek help, fostering a culture of understanding and empathy within communities across the country. In a symbolic gesture, James spearheaded the creation of a memorial in the town square dedicated to the resilience of veterans. The monument featured an intricately carved sculpture of a wounded warrior, surrounded by the words, "Strength through scars." It became a focal point for reflection, a place where veterans and civilians alike could honor the sacrifices and triumphs of those who had served.